Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Welcome to the Miracle Flight Deck, a Miracle Flights podcast.
Welcome back to the Miracle Flight Deck, a Miracle Flights podcast. Here joining us today, we have Carrie Roper. I have had the opportunity of knowing Carrie for a little bit, about a year now, and that's because we hosted SOARée together. Carrie, welcome, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you. Oh my God. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. This is such a cool space. Those that can't see this at home, this is the neatest thing I've seen. It just continues to show the elevation you guys do here at Miracle Flights. I'm super excited to be here. I actually grew up in Las Vegas. We talked about this a little bit. I'm like one of those rare unicorns. I'm not calling myself a unicorn, but there's not many of us that are lucky enough to call Las Vegas our hometown and come back and kind of be ingrained in the community. Having seen it growing up and now being able to be a part of it as an adult is something super, super special. So grew up here in Vegas, was a product of the CCSD school system, UNLV grad, go Rebels, journalism. And then I went to LA, and my career for the last almost 16 years has been in media. So I've kind of, you and I, that's how we bonded. Experience in news with local news. I've worked for some big brands, Netflix, Disney, OWN. I've kind of been on the other side of the camera for a long time. But part of what I do as well, and I'm very fortunate to do, that a lot of companies and nonprofits here in Southern Nevada trust me to MC. I was an anchor here for a local broadcast on a digital space for years. And part of my day job is I'm the executive producer for Storyville Road. So being able to do a video production company, women-owned, super proud of what we've accomplished in the last 5 years, being able to continue to tell those stories and be creative on that side of the camera, but then have the opportunity to tell stories on stage and through my hosting here for different nonprofits is super special. So kind of all facets over the last 16 years.
And Carrie's leaving out a very big part of her role. She is an Emmy Award-winning journalist, right?
Yes, I'm very, very proud to say that. So thank you. Yes, Emmy Award-winning with the work we did, highlighting actually, and it's, I think, a wonderful tie. It was a story that we did at Storyville Road in conjunction with our partnership with the Raiders for a story on cancer. So we highlighted with our host at the time, some of the players who had kind of battled with cancer. And cancer is a big part of my personal story. My mom passed several years ago, but she was a cancer survivor for a long time. So I think that made the first official Emmy win of my career. I've had others when I was with the Ellen DeGeneres show as a producer. I had won Emmys underneath their umbrella, but that with this team and for a story like that was just, it couldn't have been more full circle.
So Carrie is involved with us through SOARée, but Carrie, I don't even know the story of how you initially got involved with Miracle Flights. I know I was telling you a little bit about how being a former journalist, I was doing some live shots, and that's how I got introduced. But tell us, this is a national nonprofit based here in Las Vegas. How did you get introduced?
You know what? We talked about this very briefly before this. I don't remember. I don't know if that's like mom brain or what, but I am, when I was piecing this back, I think it was through some members of the organization that were here at the time had seen me hosting. I work with AFP and do their nonprofit. I've worked with them for years and hosting their event. I think someone came up and was like, "Hey, are you interested? Could you host this?" And I was like, "Sure, that sounds great." And then flash forward 3 years later, to be very honest, I had no clue, A, what I was getting into in the best way possible, but B, what Miracle Flights was. And the fact that this was something that was, as you mentioned, national nonprofit, but grown here in Southern Nevada, it's very, very cool to be able to learn about this amazing organization directly from the source.
And tell us, last year was my first SOARée. You're going, is it your third or fourth?
This is my third. Oh my gosh.
What have you seen? How has it evolved over the years? And, for people that don't know what SOARée is, what can you tell them?
I say SOARée is unlike anything you've ever experienced. And that sounds like a line, right? Because we hear that and it truly is. The best way I can describe it is that feeling of excitement you get on Christmas morning as a kid, right? Take it all the way back. When you were Christmas morning as a kid, and you were just the anticipation of opening up these gifts and going, oh, cool, I wonder what it is. Could it be this? Could it be the truck I wanted? Could it be the Barbie I wanted? Whatever it is, opening it up and just that feeling of elation, that is what SOARée is. It is unlike anything you've ever experienced in the fact to where people come to Thrive Aviation, the hangar just off the strip. It's a luxurious, elevated experience where you feel like a star. You get star treatment from the partners. Southwest as the partners for Miracle Flights. They have their volunteers there. They all come up. Everybody's dressed to the nines. There's always a theme. And then it's just a night of genuine celebration and being within the community. You've got wonderful vendors and entertainment, live entertainers. The program itself is wonderful. But what makes it so cool is the feeling of excitement is you get the opportunity to be whisked away to a staycation or a vacation outside, right? Take that back. So you get the opportunity to be whisked away to a vacation. You get on a plane and you have your bags already packed and you go. That raffle is something that is instant gratification that you see. You don't need to wait months to see the payoff. You get on a plane right then and there. And how cool is that? And everybody's cheering for you. Everybody wants to see you win. Of course, they want to win themselves, but there's just a genuine excitement for people in the room and an energy that is unlike anything I've ever been a part of.
And a private jet at that, right? How many of us can say that we have been on a private jet?
Not many. And I think that's just bragging rights in its own. And the photos, like everything is an Instagrammable opportunity at this event. There's, you've got Miles, the mascot, you've got just, friends and the opportunity to take photos in the plane to see what you would actually be whisked away on. It's pretty spectacular.
You don't just go to SOARée. I know you Lights for Flights. I've seen a lot of that. What are some of your favorite memories? And, people think it's a gala, right? But it's more than a gala, and Lights for Flights is more than. How do you see these events that Miracle Flights you're a volunteer, right? You volunteer for us. How do you see these events making a difference?
I think it's easy to say that you're a part of something, but I think it's a lot more impactful to say you're a part of something in a different capacity, that you believe in it with everything. Being able to learn Miracle Flights from those directly involved in the organization, the heart and the passion shows up every single day. It's not just for these events. It's in the year-long work that goes to supporting children and their families being able to get this life-saving care that they so deserve. I think my favorite memory from SOARée is we have this room packed, right, at Thrive Aviation. Everybody's got their raffle ticket, and this was the year you were with me. This was last year. We were calling out the names for the people who would be winning the flight, and we're like, okay, get your bags ready. We're all set to go. We called out a couple names, and I think it was the second or third name. It was a gentleman, and he jumped out of his seat. He was like, that's me. He was so excited. He comes up, and we asked him, I said, oh, great. Who are you taking? Because we have to get that verbal confirmation to say, yes, I'm going to accept this. Yes, I'm going to go. Because who would back out? You never know, but they do. They may. You don't know. And he said, I am married to the prettiest woman in the world, the mayor of North Las Vegas, Pamela Goins-Brown. And he pointed to her, and she jumped up and was so excited to see her husband. This is a mayor, right? And to see her supporting and to be so excited, and her husband just so thrilled to be able to find some joy in just everyday life. That's what Miracle Flights does. It brings it right front and center to everybody, no matter where you're from, no matter what you do for a living. It evens the playing field, and it just is joy encapsulated in not just one evening, but throughout. And you said it perfectly. It's not just a gala. It's so much more. And when you know that it's benefiting the work that's happening here behind the scenes every single day, I mean, wow. And we had a scale, like the thermometer.
Yes.
Last year. We had a thermometer last year that was tracking our donations. And last year was the 40th celebration, 40th anniversary. And we're continuing that party this year.
Carrie, for someone that has never attended a SOARée, what would you tell them? Like, what is your one tip?
My one tip is to be ready for anything, to be open, to just shed that belief that this is like something you've experienced. You know, we're very fortunate in Las Vegas to live in a very connected community. There's always something going on, whether it's a residency, you know, a wonderful place to have dinner. Then boil that down to galas and luncheons. Spring especially is one of the busiest times, spring and around the holidays, in my years here that I've seen. And it can get a little bit overstimulating, for lack of a, lack of a better term, or it can kind of get old hats where you're like, okay, I'm excited to go here, but I got to grab the dress, I got to grab the suit, we're going to go network, we're going to do these things. That's not what this is. So my biggest tip is to just forget anything that you think you know about these types of events, because that's not what Miracle Flights is. And to go in with the open mind. I love what you said, to where your perspective and your journey was very different, because last year was your first year, and to see you see this event through those eyes was so cool, and to experience it. I've happened to find Miracle Flights and the mission so critically important. I'm a mom. I have 2 kids, 2 boys, 11 and 13. And to see these parents and the struggles and it's very hard being a parent. Just to be a parent in this day and age with everything we're dealing with. But then add on when you have a child who needs that extra care, you feel so hopeless. When my children have a cold, I want to hold them and rub them, I want to hold them and take care of them and take anything away. I can't imagine what that's like to see your child go through that for an extended period of time. One of our child ambassadors that we're honoring this year, I was getting familiar with her story. She's been traveling thanks to Miracle Flights since 2017 for life-saving care. Can you even imagine, as a parent, take away the financial aspect, as a parent, to watch your child go through this for close to 10 years? Wow. These are our champions. This is who we're honoring. This is what this is all for. It's to help support. These funds go directly to supporting these families, to make this a little bit easier. And with partners like Thrive Aviation and Southwest, to be able to lift that load off just a bit and give them a really spectacular night is so beautiful. Asher's mom last year, he was our child ambassador. She was so lovely, and she came and she looked gorgeous and decked out, and we talked before they went on stage, and she said, you know what? I can't remember the last time I got to get dressed up. She got her hair done, her makeup. She got to feel like a princess. Rightfully so. She is working hard for her family, with her family unit, to continue to support her son. They deserve a night. They deserve so much more. But if all we can give them as a community is a night of support, as a mom, when I see that, they're heroes, every single one of them.
So our walls, this is the first time I think you come into our office. This is also new to me, but in our walls here, we have our child ambassadors. And I always say that those walking to those halls is what excites us and keeps us moving forward on the mission that we have to get these kids to that life-changing medical care. Carrie, you're also a working professional, right? How do you manage to do it all? And what advice do you have someone that wants to use the skill sets that they have in the nonprofit side of things?
I think the nonprofit side of things is the heartbeat of our community. Yes, we can all say that we've got so much going on. We're so busy. You're one of the busiest people. Kathy here at Miracle Flights, everybody has so much going on, but I think we make time and we create space for the things that matter to us. And by stepping out and meeting others and getting familiar with nonprofit organizations that align with your passions, it makes the yes so much easier. And it makes creating space for those things that matter so much easier. My husband and I, we actually volunteered at the event in December in downtown Summerlin. And he, that was his first time volunteering, mine as well, for that particular event. And it was so cool to just meet our neighbors and meet those in our community from a different side, where we're just helping be a part of this really great night that you guys created. But it's very it's very easy to say I don't have time, and to step back and really evaluate, I'm a mom, I've got kids to take places and a job to do, but Miracle Flights and organizations that align with each of our passions is the easiest yes. And when you say yes and you're invested in the mission and your why for it, I find myself calling Kathy and emailing Fox and saying, what can I do? I will happily take out the trash, whatever you need me. Do you need me to help load boxes? And it's genuine because I want to see them succeed. And so I think, for anybody out there that's trying to figure out where to start, just take a first step to see what nonprofits are in your community. If you believe in helping animals, if you believe in helping children, if you believe in, whatever it is, find what you're passionate about and start to take those initial steps. Even if it's an hour. My son volunteers. He just got into volunteering. He volunteers because he's a sports guy. He plays sports. And so we said, okay, what is something within his capacity? He's 13 that would align with him being outdoors. And he's now, working with Miracle League to go ahead and volunteer here and there. It's not a lot. I'm not going to make it sound like he volunteers every weekend. He doesn't, but he just started that journey. And part of it was seeing my husband and I take moments out like at December and say, hey, we're going to take 3 hours out, 4 hours out that night to help. It's not a lot. It's the difference between a date night and it's just a different way to go on a date night. And then when my children see that, it inspires them to want to get involved. So when you're looking to get involved, realize that it's not just you that you're impacting. You could be impacting your children. You could be impacting a coworker by just taking those first steps of being curiosity.
Any last messages, last words about Miracle Flights, about the work that you've done with Miracle Flights, anything else you'd like to add?
I'm just thank you. I mean, you and I have gotten to know each other over this past year, and I'm so excited to see your journey and to how you started on one side. And obviously this means something to you to be leaving a career that you established and starting this new journey. And that just goes to show the power of what this is. But I think for anybody, that's listening, SOARée is a phenomenal event. You've got to come. You've got to come check it out. Grab your bags, pack your bags, and come support the amazing mission that is Miracle Flights. And even if it's an hour of time or here and there, find something that you're passionate about to get involved in and give back to this community that is just so special and continuing to grow.
Carrie, thank you so much again for joining us.
We know you have many choices when listening to a podcast, and we thank you for choosing the Miracle Flight Deck.